When you put the key in the ignition in the Subaru, it will refuse to give it back. You can't get the key out. What in the heck's going on with this thing? Let's find out. Let's get started. This is a 2013 Subaru Crosstrek. And it's in pretty good shape, but like I just mentioned, it has an issue with the key, kind of a situation going on. It won't release the key. We found out what's wrong, and we're going to show you how we found that. It also has a grinding noise, which is the two complaints the customer had. But during the inspection, figuring out what's wrong, we found a third issue that's very unsafe. Before we dive in and figure out why it won't let you have the key back, let's take a look around this Crosstrek. We do see some fogged up headlamps in the front, and I do apologize. We do hear some rain noise in the background. It's raining pretty heavy today. But as I mentioned, the paint and everything is pretty fair on this one. It does have some plastic cladding, which is in good shape. It has the 17-inch wheels on it. You do see some scraping going on right there, but nothing too serious. As we come around to the back, it is the XV Crosstrek, as stated on the hatch there. And around this side, it is a typical Subaru. Nothing too fancy, but they are very reliable. Let's go ahead and hop under the hood. So here we have our 2.5 liter four-cylinder. It's not inline four or a V4. It's a flat four, just like your grandpa's 67 Volkswagen Beetle. Yes, an opposed boxer engine. One thing I really like to see in this engine bay is there's writing everywhere from the person who has maintained this vehicle, very likely the owner. We can see that there's an air filter, when it was done, and the part number. They checked the antifreeze, it was good to that degrees. Timing belt, 106,000 miles. There's the oil change. Also, there's some repairs that were done up there, rear brakes, some rear hubs, and both front hub bearings. So yeah, pretty cool. Over the years, I've had people get mad at me because we do an oil change. We don't pre-fill the oil filter. I think it's a bunch of crap. I'll prove it. Just look at this oil filter. How can you pre-fill that, guys? Whenever this engine shuts off, this thing empties. It's completely empty. If I were to take this off right now, not much would come out. It's filled with air. When this engine shuts off, all the oil that's in the oil filter goes back down into the return, back into the engine. Every time you start it, it has to fill the oil filter again. That's a wives' tale, guys. That's a lie. Oh, I need to fill my oil filter. You're going to ruin the engine. No, you're not. No, you're not. Now, there are some industrial heavy equipment machines that take 3 or 4 oil filters in a row. Yes, I could see that being the case there, but not on your common everyday car. So we see all the writing in here, which means the vehicle's been kept safe in good condition. And speaking of keeping the vehicle safe, you know there's more to safe driving than just good running vehicle, and wearing your seatbelt, knowing and keeping track of what's going on around you is just as important. A few months ago, I installed a Wolfbox G900 Pro mirror dash cam in my Ram truck. They are a continued sponsor of the Car Wizard channel. I thought I'd give you an update on how well it's performing. Let's go check it out real quick. We've taken this truck on several trips to our house in New Mexico, and it's done great, but the small screen the truck came with is basically useless. Technology has gotten so much better. The 12-inch touchscreen on this Wolfbox G900 lets you switch between front, rear, or split screen views, giving you a full view of your surroundings. Plus, I can stay focused on the road with hands-free voice control. I can ask the G900 to start recording or take a picture with simple voice commands. With superior night vision, the G900 Pro captures every detail, even in low light or challenging conditions. All thanks to its 4K front and 2.5K rear resolution and advanced IMX678 sensor. You probably noticed this isn't the smallest vehicle on the road, but the G900 makes reversing much safer and more precise. Plus, it makes attaching a trailer a breeze. When I want to download footage from their app, it's lightning fast, with 5.8 gigahertz Wi-Fi offering 4 times faster video transfer speeds compared to traditional systems. And with 24-hour parking monitoring, your vehicle is always protected if your G900 is hardwired in. If anyone gets near my truck, the app will immediately let me know and record it. If you worry about keeping you and your vehicle protected, you need one of these. Order a Wolfbox G900 Pro backup camera today. Check out the links in the description below. Now back to that Subaru. So let's dive into that pesky issue with the key not being retracted. Let me demonstrate it for you. Some vehicles will have a little button you needed to press to fully turn the key to the proper position, to retract the key. Sometimes you have to push the whole key in, which is kind of the situation here, but that's not actually the problem. Let me demonstrate it here. We turn the key to the on position. When you go to turn it off, it stops, and then you push the key in and get it to go the rest of the way back, and then you can pull the key out. But here's the issue. Sometimes, no matter what you do, it will not come out. It's very frustrating. So let me show you what I found on Identifix, then we'll come back to this situation and revisit what's going on here. Identifix is a database I use. You type in a year, make, model, and put the information in on your issue or your complaint, and it gives you kind of a nationwide map of what's going on, what are other mechanics seeing out there. It doesn't guarantee to figure out exactly what's wrong with your car, but it gives you sometimes a way shorter amount of diagnosis by cutting a lot of the unknowns out. Let me show you what we found on this one. I typed in key will not come out of the ignition sometimes, and it lists Imprezas, Foresters, Crosstreks, all kinds of different models. It lists some test procedures to do, but 60 people had to replace the park switch. And this one also says park switch. They call it a Prendle range switch, but it's actually the park switch. So actually 68 switches were bad. It's not a huge number as compared to how many cars were made of the Crosstrek series, but with that large of a number, that tells me it's a very good chance that I could focus only on the shifter, and it may show me that that's actually the same issue that they're having. There have been cases where I go to look at a particular issue and it doesn't match what Identifix says, and say, okay, I need to dive in a little deeper, but it saves the customer some money. If I don't have to spend 4 hours testing 12 different systems, I can look on Identifix and boom, get to it. Now, Identifix is not something you're going to purchase if you're just a do-it-yourself backyard mechanic. It can cost hundreds of dollars a month just to have it. It's really for professional shops. But Google AI could help as well. You can type in, my key won't come out of my ignition on a 2013 Subaru Crosstrek. You could just about find a lot of the similar information that way as well. It's just not as fast or as easy. Let's go back into the interior and show you what we found. So what we found is if we mess with the shifter and wiggle it around, it'll act up. It'll start doing it. Watch this, guys. Watch the key. There it is. It acted up. It doesn't take very much, just a slight movement of the shifter, just barely out of park, just the tiniest bit. And then you put it back into park, and it still won't release the key. Boom. Identifix was dead on. It's inside the shifter assembly. It's a little switch that's bad.
Wizard, that would be terrifying if that happened to me. You can't leave your key in the ignition.
Right, you just pulled up to a rock concert or something like that and you're excited, I'm going to go see this new band or something like that, and you're like, okay, I can't leave my key in the ignition, someone could steal my car. It could be very annoying, very annoying. Here's actually a picture of the part. It's like a little frame piece assembly that bolts inside the shifter. It's not very expensive, like 80 bucks or 100 bucks. Maybe you can find them cheaper other places. We're going to search and see if we can do that, but it's not super expensive. So that's really good. So with parts and labor, $300 to $500, depending on how difficult it is, it's not going to be thousands of dollars. So they got lucky. They were actually concerned something's wrong with their key. This is going to be super expensive. And it turned out it's actually not. So that's really good. Now let's dive into that grinding noise. Let's get this vehicle up in the air. So what are some things that can sound like a grinding noise while you're driving? It could be a CV shaft, it could be a wheel hub bearing, it could be a serpentine belt pulley, it could be something rotational on the engine, it could be brakes, it could be a lot of different things. So let's run a quick check and see what we find on this Crosstrek. We're also going to do an inspection while we're at it. Here's our underbelly shield. Looks like a cute little access cover here. I wonder what it goes to. I don't know. I don't see a whole lot. Do you see anything, Mrs. Wizard?
Not from this angle.
I don't know. Anyways.
There's one on this other side too.
Let's check it out. Nothing.
Really, is there a drain plug for the oil? The oil filter's right up there.
Possibly, but yeah, I don't see much of anything.
Okay.
Interesting. That's kind of weird, guys. Let us know in the comments what's the purpose of that. It just opens into nothing. There's nothing there. I don't see any coolant leaks going on here by the radiator core support. I don't see any oil leaks or anything leaking, so that's good. Let's go ahead and check our front wheels. The brake pads are about 50% remaining. The CV boots are good. Struts are dry. Sway bar links are tight. No grinding noise there. Same thing on the brakes here. CV boots are good. Struts are dry. Sway bar link is good. Nothing loose. And just some normal drivetrain noise. Nothing grinding there. So this is all-wheel drive, so we'll continue on our way back as we're looking for the grinding noise and also inspecting. Here's our transaxle, which on the Subarus, it has a rear drive shaft, but it also has two CV shafts that come out of the front. But what's really interesting about Subarus is that the engine and transmission is oriented just like Grandpa's Chevy 350 in his Chevy truck. It's not sideways or any strange orientation. It's set up just like old school trucks. Nothing's leaking here. I don't see any issues going on there. Our exhaust is intact. Let's check our rear drive shaft. Nothing loose or grinding there. A lot of plastic skid plates here, which is good. More plastic here. Here's the rear of our drive shaft. Nothing loose there as well. Here's our tiny little baby differential. That's small, Mrs. Wizard.
Yeah, it is awfully tiny.
So here's CV boots. They're good. Our struts in good shape. Sway bar links in good shape. Let's go ahead and turn this wheel. I don't really hear much there. Nothing's loose. But I do see the brakes are down very, very thin. Probably 10% remaining. Struts are dry. Sway bar links are good. Let's turn this wheel and see if we hear any noise. Oh, did you guys hear that? There it is again. Let's go to the outside and listen. All right, we're going to try something new. My microphone's actually magneted to a lug nut right now. So I'm going to spin the wheel. You can definitely hear it on the outer part here. It's pretty loud. All right, there we go, guys. Let me grab my microphone back. So we found the second issue, the grinding noise whenever they're hitting the brakes. These pads are just about down to metal, and it's making the sound. You can also hear that the rotors are pretty warped. So we're going to quote new rotors, new pads in the back. That'll solve the grinding issue. But while we were inspecting these rear brakes to listen for this noise, we found a third issue that the customer wasn't complaining about. But when I road tested this vehicle, the tire noise is so loud. It's like whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know if they notice it or not. It's definitely a safety concern. Let me show you how bad these rear tires are, guys. So I'm going to spin this wheel up, and you're going to be looking at these 4 or 5 different tread sections. You're going to notice as it's spinning, like it hops, because there's a huge indentation. Take a look, guys. You see it, guys? So there's some broken belts in both of these rear tires. You can actually see it's not flat. It actually starts to go uphill here. If you could rub your hand over this, guys, you could feel it. It's like a roller coaster. It's so bad. They might have a little tread left, but they are from 2021. They're 4 years old, and with the belt starting to break on it, it's time for rear tires for sure. It's only going to get worse, and it could have a blowout, which could cause an accident. So we found a key retracting issue, and we also found the grinding noise, and we found a third issue, which wasn't even complained about, which is the most serious issue. It's very dangerous. Let's get this thing back on the ground. So nothing we found is majorly expensive. There's not going to be a huge bill on this thing, but we did find something that was kind of unexpected with the rear tires that's very dangerous. That will definitely need to be addressed. But now we figured out what's going on with that key, why sometimes it won't come out. It has to do with the shifter. It's not seeing it go into park. With the scan tool, we were actually able to watch the park signal, and sometimes we would put it into park, but the computer said, no, it's not in park, even though it was in park. So therefore it was thinking, well then, if it's not in park, we should not release the key yet, even though it was in park. So there's a switch that's bad inside the shifter assembly. And we also found that pesky grinding noise. But sometimes when you bring your vehicle to a shop, your bill can be even higher than what you could even thought it was going to be, because the mechanic finds something else that was unexpected, just like these rear tires. Today's a very rainy day and the streets are all wet. You definitely don't want to be chancing tires like that where the belts are broken. It could cause a serious accident. Someone could get hurt. So if your mechanic finds something else wrong, just like we found on these tires, sometimes it pays to listen and I know you want to go blah, 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 I don't want to spend more money, I don't want to hear it. You probably should hear it, because like we saw in this situation, someone could get hurt. So it's definitely time for tires on this vehicle. So we all remember the era of Subarus with blown head gaskets, 2004, 2005, somewhere around in there. It was a huge gamble to even buy a Subaru. You can almost be guaranteed that you're going to get stuck with a head gasket job. But around 2010, 2012, somewhere around in there, they started to pull out of that. They don't have that issue anymore. And really, to be honest with you guys, I always push Toyotas and Hondas, but there's a third vehicle with very good reliability now. Subarus. They are very reliable now. You can purchase one of these now and not worry about head gaskets. That's a thing of the past. That's not even something to talk about. It's a non-starter with these newer Subarus. Head gaskets and new Subarus, non-starter. So that's definitely been solved. I'm not sure what they did to solve it, but that's no longer an issue. Even the older Subarus of the 80s and early 90s, they didn't have that issue. But there was definitely a range there in the early 2000s. They started to have the head gasket blowing like crazy. So if you get one before that range or after, it's very likely you got a good one. They're actually pretty reliable. So definitely wanted to get a video to you guys to show you if you have an issue with your key not wanting to come out. Sometimes it can be your shifter is what's causing it. If you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to fix this Crosstrek or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. A lot of the tools we use in the shop are for sale there, and if you purchase any of them, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button, because we have a shop full of cars, which means months of videos for you guys. Thanks for watching.